Alright, check this out. You guys are back on an episode of Blue Devil Reactions, and what we have going on today, it is a video titled MS-13 versus 18th Street Gang. Now look, this feud has been going on for decades. I believe at one point they were cool, but that was a long time ago. At least different certain sections were cool, right? But in this video here, it is the versus, and it is a perfect versus because it is so old and it's been going on forever. But check this out. Before we get into that video, to those that are new to Blue Devil Reactions, make sure you go over, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, like the video, and most importantly, run up the comments. You know, tell me what you think. On the last video I did with Tim McGee, I was off by where the gang was located at, and somehow everybody said I won from LA, this and this. Listen, not only is LA huge, but I'm from a section that's not close to the section that I was talking about, right? And for some reason I was thinking of something else. When you sort of like freestyle, everything is not easy, right? You forget things and accidental things, not even on purpose. You know, it's one of those things that slip my mind. But you know how the comment warriors are. They'll talk to me like they the encyclopedia, and like I don't know anything. But it's all good. I go back and forth. So make sure you guys comment down below. Other than that, today we have Compa Raider pulling up to the Haters Only podcast. So if you guys don't know who Compa Raider is, he is the CEO of Trash Bag Boys. So pull up to the Haters Only podcast. Not here, that's on the Hater World. So pull up to the Hater World, show some love. We go on at 7 p.m. Alright? And other than that, Hater World Uncensored tomorrow, Friday, we're going to do the music reactions, the music request. That's going to be Friday, and that's going to be Saturday. So pull up. And the very last announcement is Hater World Media. If you have Instagram, go to Hater World Media. That's where we post all the news for the community. You know, music, hip hop, you know, Earth news, you name it. Well, you know what? You wouldn't call it Earth news. You'd call it world news, right? See what I mean? Like, come on. Alright, well, no further ado, let's give you guys a Blue Devil reaction. MS-13 versus 18th Street Gang. Let's get it.
Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the war between MS-13 and 18th Street. 18th Street is a predominantly Hispanic American gang located in Los Angeles, California. They originated in the 1960s in the Pico Union District near 18th and Union Avenue. 18th Street was initially established because the gang known as Clan 14 only recruited and admitted Mexican Americans in their gang. Clan 14 selective membership led to the creation of the 18th Street Gang. 18th Street's territory historically is composed of 5 main neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Within each neighborhood, there are specific names to distinguish the different groups, as well as cliques. Prospect.
Yeah, he said they got 5 main gang cliques, right? But let's not forget that they have flourished all over the world. They I don't want to say the world, but they flourished all over the states. You know, you'll find them in different states on the East Coast, Midwest, West Coast. You know, they recruit wherever they go, so they're sort of like all over the place. But you know, the LA ones are the ones that created the shit. Let's go.
Are initiated into the gang by being beaten for 18 seconds or partaking in some type of illegal activity designated by a current member. The 18th Street Gang remains predominantly composed of men. The women who join the gang have 3 avenues to do so: an 18-second beating, sexual intercourse with multiple members, or being a girlfriend or wife of a member could potentially lead to membership over time. 18's reach has extended out of Los Angeles to cities and suburbs throughout the U.S. 18 has a presence in numerous states within the U.S., including Florida, New York, Hawaii, Pennsylvania. It is estimated that 18 has approximately 30 to 50,000 members in the U.S. alone. Additionally, outside the U.S.,
it's wild on how many members, bro. I mean, there's gangs that are small, like I'm from a small hood, right? And there's gangs that got thousands of members. There's hoods that got 500 members. There's some that only have a few hundred. There's even gangs down to the below 50 number mark, the number 50 mark. But you're not supposed to underestimate nobody, even if it is a small gang. Because there's always somebody that'll prove you wrong. You feel me? But this is one of those gangs that got so many members, bro. It's wild. You gotta imagine how hard it is to keep track of everything and everyone, and it probably gets out of control at times. Structure might be pretty difficult when it comes to a big gang like this.
18th Street has a presence in El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Spain, and Mexico. MaraSalvatrucha, also known as MS-13, is a primarily Salvadorian gang, also located in Los Angeles, California. They originated in the 1980s when Salvadorian refugees escaping the Civil War settled in the Westlake, Pico Union, and Rampart districts just west of downtown Los Angeles. In these neighborhoods, which are among the poorest and most crowded in the city, the already established Mexican gangs will bully and extort the newly arrived Salvadorians. In order to protect themselves, Salvadorian teenagers who had a common interest in heavy metal music banded together into stoner groups. In time, the groups coalesced into a single gang, MaraSalvatrucha. Over time, MS-13 members got involved into drug dealing and turned violence into their specialty. Many of the MS members were teenage veterans of the Civil War and were already hardened and battle-tested. The myth that they were worshippers of Satan made them even more intimidating. They are estimated to have at least 10,000 members in the US, with the majority of them being in Los Angeles, Long Island, New York, and the DMV. An anti-gang crackdown in the late 1990s saw hundreds of early members deported back to Central America, where they established offshoots. They are now estimated to have at least 60.
When they do that, when you're fully activated in the gang, right, and they deport you, a lot of times you build a chapter when you get deported. Even if you move to a different state, somewhere else, you're gonna start your own chapter. Sometimes that don't work because all they're doing is making the gang bigger. I know all the people that got deported to El Salvador, they built their gang over there, and now they are huge in El Salvador. Bro, if you don't know what's going on in El Salvador, I suggest you go look it up. They're building jails specifically for these guys because there's nowhere to house them. There is so many.
1,000 MS-13 members in Central America. In the beginning, MS-13 and 18th Street were relatively cool with each other. In the 80s, allegedly an MS-13 member named Shaggy got into a physical altercation.
So yes, at the beginning they were cool. They were cool, but of course, like always, something happens and it messes up everything. Probably a hyena. Let's see.
With an 18th Streeter at a party, allegedly over a female. The 18th Streeter went and got a Uzi and allegedly.
But I'm not gonna lie. I had a big beef with a whole town over a hyena too. Ongoing beef for like 3 years. People getting blasted, stabbed, jail. I wasn't fighting over no girl. They were. I'll tell the story someday. But it always does happen over a female. Always.
Ended up killing Shaggy. They have been at war ever since. In April of 2013, MS-13 operated at least 6 Casitas in Los Angeles, 4 of which were located in the Pico Union district. A casita, which means little house in Spanish, is an apartment or house used to elicit drug and alcohol sales, gambling,
Trap
and
house.
Sex work. Gang members, as well as other persons, patronize the casitas, which provide a place to socialize and relax.
That's a trap house, all right? A trap house. Check this out. Damn well. Hold on.
Spanish is an apartment or house used to elicit drug and alcohol sales, gambling, and sex work.
You damn know this homie right here was thinking outside the box. Everybody always gets the old English MS, boom, boom, right? But this guy right here, he was thinking outside the box. He said, let me try this. Nah, my boy. He should. You know what he should have done? Is put that S right here. Right, so it'll look like a Dodger sign. You know, like the two letters. Right. He should have put that S here. I think that would have looked hard. I think that would have looked fire.
Gang members, as well as other persons, patronize the casitas, which provide a place to socialize and relax.
Kick it, yeah.
Women may work in the casitas as either hostess or pros. Hostess are paid for sitting and drinking with the male patrons.
Facts.
Women may also assist with narcotic sales. Ricky, who went by the name Directo, was responsible for operating these casitas.
Well, you know what? I don't want to say directly like a trap house. Like a little underground bar. What were those called back in the day? Back in the 40s, 30s, they were called what were they called? Somebody let me know. Shit, I always be forgetting. But you know, it's like a little underground bar. You pull up, you probably pay to get in. They probably got a couple of tables. They're playing music. Hyenas are serving you. You want her to sit down. You gotta pay her to sit down. You know, to drink with you, like a little underground bar. There's a word for it. You know, back in the 30s and the 40s, they had they had them, and then you know they would come, and then because alcohol was illegal, and they would come raid them. Shit, what is it called? Somebody let me know. I'll probably remember right now.
He was assisted by Jose and Edward, who were also from MS. In December of 2012, Gabriela met Diego at school, and they became romantically involved. Diego, also known as Ryder, was from MS as well. Through her association with Diego, Gabriela began visiting the casitas and regularly used drugs there. She dropped out of school and on March 13th began living at the 21st Street Casita, along with Rick, a woman named Wendy, and Anna. She assisted with drug sales and was paid to sit and drink with the male patrons. Gabriela had relatives and friends who were...
They keep using Young Dopey's photos. This Wish, Young Dopey, these are artists, they're rappers from LA. But it's funny how they keep using their photos. This guy must have went to his YouTube or his Facebook and grabbed all the photos from there.
Members of the 18th Street Gang, who was a rival to MS. Gabriela sent and received text messages on her cell phone and could access the Facebook application on it. Her phone was not password protected. Some of her text messages and Facebook information indicated her connection to 18th Street members. When Gabriela was at the casita, Diego and Wendy usually took her phone away from her, and other persons in the casita would use it to receive calls and texts. Gabriela was worried that MS-13 members would discover her ties to 18th Street and harm her. She spoke to Diego.
I just looked it up, and they came up as saloons. They're not saloons what I'm talking about. Speakeasies. There you go. A speakeasy. There you go. There you go. It's like a speakeasy. Look it up.
About this, and he told her not to worry. In April of 2013, Gabriela stopped dating Diego. At some point, she had a sexual encounter with Jose.
Facts. Had to. Always. Alright, let's go.
On April 22nd, Rick asked Gabriela to work at the casita as a pro. She declined, and he became angry with her. The next day at around 1 a.m., Rick told Gabriela and Anna that they could no longer live at the casita and had to leave. With nowhere to go, they borrowed money and stayed the night at the East West Hotel, which was less than 2 blocks away from the Fedora Casita. Later that morning, Gabriela and Anna returned to the Fedora Casita.
Nowadays, I would say, because this is probably like, they're probably narrating, you know, this beef from like, I don't know, 20 years ago maybe. But now these casitas are called nets. You know, nets, you go in there, they got the little computers where you get to gamble. You know, they'll bring you some drinks. You got a security guard at the door. You know, you pay for your drinks, you gamble, and if you once you run out of money, you gotta leave. They're called nets.
Where they hoped a friend of Anna's would loan them some money. Ruben was there when they arrived. Rick, Edward, and Jose arrived shortly after, but did not speak to the women. Unable to borrow the money, Gabriela and Anna decided to leave. As they were exiting, Jose made a hand gesture to Gabriela, which in hindsight, she believed was a warning. Sometime that afternoon, the women walked back to the East West Hotel. As the women walked toward the corner of 8th Street, Edward approached while Jose was on the opposite corner. Edward told Gabriella that she needed to come with him to a meeting. She initially refused, asking why she had to attend if she was not a gang member. Anna, concerned that something was not right, attempted to get Edward to postpone the meeting or allow her to come with Gabriella, but he refused. Gabriella agreed to go with Edward after he assured her that her current boyfriend would be there. Anna took Gabriella's phone, agreeing to call her family if something happened. Edward and Gabriella walked towards San Marino Street. Jose and Ruben walked parallel to them on the opposite side of the street. After walking for 2 blocks, Edward stopped, pulled out a small silver gun, and told her she could leave. He then said, "Fake teen, model rules here."
Ooh.
Then shot her in the chest from about 2.5 feet.
Shot the high.
Gabriella attempted to run, but fell in the street. Jose then stood over.
That's how they dissed the 18s. They put an F in front. So 18 with an F in the front. You know, spell it out.
Waved the gun side to side and laughed. All 3 men then fled the scene. When police arrived, they found Gabriella lying face down in the street. She had suffered multiple gunshot wounds, but was conscious and pleaded for help. She had trouble breathing and enunciated her words, but tried to tell the officer that Nino from Normandy shot her. Gabriella underwent surgery and remained in a coma. She had suffered 13 gunshot wounds to her chest, back, neck, and leg.
Wow.
One of the bullets missed her heart by a millimeter.
Ooh.
Edward, Jose, and
Got
Ruben
busted.
from MS were convicted of attempted murder. They were each sentenced to 25 years to life.
25 years to life. And they still ain't get out, and they not gonna get out. I had a close encounter with MS. We were beefing with them for like, I don't know, I'm gonna say probably a cool year, because we lived in the same area. You know, I'm not gonna get too much into detail, you know, but one time they were coming out the complex, the apartment complex. I think I said this before. I walked up on the car, right? And they were banging at me, I was banging at them. I didn't have no heater, but I was acting like I did. And the guy pulls out a heater out the window, you know, exiting the apartments. I'm right up on the car, ready to smoke me. And I don't know why or how or who invited my homeboys, right? But here they come in the whip, and they're coming fast, and they get behind the dudes, right? And they see it, and they all jump out the whip. They were in the truck, right? Suburban or some shit like that. And you see like 10 dudes jump out the whip, so them fools leave. If them my homies weren't that pulled up, I would have been dead right there on the spot. If my homies weren't that pulled up, I would have been dead on the spot. You know, this was late at night, fucking 1 in the morning. We was on the block chilling, you know. My homie saved me that day. Wow. There's way more stories, but I'm gonna give you that one for today.
Some of MS-13's primary activities include extortion, murder, robbery, and drug sales. Part of the profits that the gang obtains through its illegal activities are paid as a tax to the Mexican mafia. In turn, MS-13 extorts a tax from street vendors who operate within the gang's territory. Those who refuse to pay risk having their business destroyed or being beaten or killed. MS-13 members who fail to put in work for the gang must also pay a tax. Angel joined the MS gang when he was 13 or 14 years old. In 2010, Angel decided to leave the gang and move out of the neighborhood. Around January 2012, he returned and moved back in with his parents. About 3 weeks after Angel returned to his neighborhood, Ronald and another man approached him on the street and asked him to identify his gang. Ronald asked for Angel's number and told him the boss would be contacting him. Oscar, who was a shot caller, called Angel and said that they would see each other soon and talk about the clique. About 2 weeks later, Oscar and Jonathan met with Angel at his apartment building and told him he had to put in work for the clique or pay the $20 to $40 weekly tax fee that was imposed on inactive members. Jonathan told Angel they would check him if he didn't pay. Angel understood this to mean that he or his parents would be harmed if they failed to comply. Angel gave Oscar $4.
That's wild, huh? Not every gang is like that. You know, inactive members mean like, you know, you got a job or you're with your family now. You know, you're good in the hood, but you're inactive, which means you're not outside putting in work. You know, robbing, stealing, shooting. You still from the hood. You never did no dirty business. You put in work. But at this point in your life, you're chilling. You know, the younger homies that are putting in work don't like that. Even though you've been there, they don't like that, right? So what they do, well, this gang here is they charge you a tax to leave you alone. Like, look, you're not putting in work, but you got to help out the hood. Before you were helping out by putting in work. But because you're not putting in work no more, you could help us by putting money up. You put money up, it's going to help buy drugs and guns to protect the hood. So it makes sense, right? It's structure. It makes sense, you know. So I understand it. I understand it. Let's see if he pays.
Angel understood this to mean that he or his parents would be harmed if they failed to comply. Angel gave Oscar $40. Oscar told Angel that they would see each other again soon. About a week later, Oscar called Angel and said that he was outside of his apartment building. Angel went outside and gave Oscar $40. Before Oscar drove away, he told Angel that they would see each other again soon.
Well, no shit, every week.
Around a week later, Oscar and Jonathan came to Angel's apartment. Oscar told Angel he was in a hurry and needed money for the clique. Angel took $40 out of his pocket, and Jonathan approached him and snatched the cash. A week or so later, Omar and Ronald returned to Angel's apartment. Omar told Angel that Oscar wanted at least $80. Angel said that he didn't have the money. Omar replied that they were fed up with Angel and hit him in the head with a pistol. Ronald told Angel that he would face the consequences if he did not pay when he returned.
That's dirtbag shit, my boy. The homie paying $40. He paying. Now you want to double it, getting greedy. You want to get greedy by doubling it, and you mad because he ain't got it. A lot of homies ain't got money like that. A lot of homies are barely scrounging that up, especially living in the hood. And I bet you from looking at this photo, that dude that was giving up the $40 gave up his electronics. I bet you.
Later that day, Angel sold his computer for $150.
See?
The next day, Omar and Ronald returned to Angel's apartment and he gave them the $150. After they asked for some money again, Angel finally decided to call the police. After he was interviewed, he agreed to work as an informant.
Ooh.
On May 3rd, Angel planned to meet Cash.
Alright, so this is a good part right here. A lot of times the homies be turning you, bro. They be turning you out, right? The homies be doing too much sometimes. I know because I had a homie like that. I had a good homie that I grew up with, right? He grew up with me and a bunch of other homies, but an older homie that didn't know him, right? Didn't know him, would always make him do extra shit. Do this, do that. Come here, do this. And I'd be like, fool, this fool solid. We grew up together. He from the hood. He's a homie, right? But this older homie was like a super, you know, tough guy. And so to him, he was like, nah, that fool's weak, so I'm going to do this. Man, he turned the homie out. The homie moved and never came back around. He was sick and tired of getting punked or laughed at or whatever it might have been. And there is homies like that. I can name a few other instances. Got another homie, that fucking idiot's name? What's his fucking name? God damn, I'm getting old. The fucker's name? Damn, I'm fucking old. Well, I dropped this fool off at one of the homies' pad, right? Because he was getting away from his house. I left him at the homies' pad. I go, here, take care of this fool. I'll be back to pick him up in a week. Man, I come back and I pick him up. This fool's smoked out. This fool's running amok. This guy is fucking, bro, he's twacked out. And I'm like, sleepy, right? And I'm like, what the fuck you do to him? Like, where I dropped him off at, I should have knew better, because that's, well, you guys know him. You guys seen him here in the videos. But that motherfucker crazy. Like, crazy, bro. Right? And so, I should have knew better. But I didn't think they were going to do him that dirty. You know, they did him dirty, homie. And the same thing, that fool went to go do this family thing, disappeared, never came back. And so we all have homies like that, bro. So they turned this vato out, and at least I can say in my stories, these homies didn't turn informants, didn't rat nothing. But look what they did here.
At the intersection, LAPD gang task force equipped Angel with a body camera and recording device and gave him $100 in cash for the extortion payment. On June 20th, 2012, Daniel and Miguel, who were from MS, were walking on the 1500 block of South 6th Avenue. A rival gang member spotted them walking from across the street.
Here's one thing you need to do before
on,
buying anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch.
The rival stared Daniel and Miguel down as they began to cross the street. They never made it because the rival stepped into the street, took a couple seconds to get a good aim, and opened fire. The EMS members were not armed and tried to flee. The rival kept shooting until he ran out of bullets. The rival stood over one of the men as the man lay dying in the street and cursed him for belonging to MS.
Damn.
He proclaimed that he would have shot him in the face if he had another round.
Wow, he got
Both
lucky.
Miguel and Daniel died at the scene. The following day, after the double homicide, Oscar demanded money from Angel to pay for funeral expenses. On June 27th, an 18th Street member shot at Ronald's car, leaving it riddled with bullets. On July 4th, Castro ordered Angel to kill a member of 18th Street and arranged to meet with Angel to show him a photograph of the target. Angel relayed this to Officer Guerrero, and Castro was arrested that same night. The next day, Oscar and Castro each called Angel and accused him of being a rat. Angel was relocated after it was discovered that a green light had been issued against him.
Why everybody always say Palmdale, bro? People were in the comments saying I'm from Palmdale. I've never been there in my life. But everybody's always referring as Palmdale as soft. You know, because it's in the valley, I believe, right? See, that's another section I don't know. I've never been up there. Like, bro, some people are stuck and bound to places that they grew up in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was stuck to a certain part, bro, so I only know like a little, maybe I would say 10-15 mile radius around me. A lot of people don't leave their areas, and there is people that do. And then you got those super hardcore cholos that just want to learn about everything. So, you know, Palmdale, I guess people try to make it be sweet.
Oscar, Jonathan, Omar, and Ronald were all convicted on 7 counts in conspiracy to commit extortion. They were sentenced to 49 and 42 years to life. On September 21st, 2014 at around 1 a.m., Brian, who was from 18, was waiting at a bus stop at the intersection of Wilshire and Western. A dark-colored pickup truck stopped at a red light by the bus stop. Brian and some young guys that were in the truck exchanged gang signs. Brian then raised his middle finger up in a disrespectful manner. The truck then took off and turned around the corner. Brian said to the person that was seated next to him, "Man, something about to pop off." 2 men then walked to the bus stop from the direction of the truck. Brian then said, "Everything good, fool?"
Damn, I've never seen a car with 6 wheels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Damn, look at this car. This shit right here got 6 wheels, my boy.
One of the men then produced a gun, racked it, and fired numerous shots at Brian, who was backing up from approximately 8 feet away. Brian fell on top of a woman who was selling tamales, and they both landed on the ground. The 2 males then ran northbound on Western to where the pickup truck was stopped just before 6th Street. Brian suffered gunshot wounds to his head and back and died at the scene.
Wow.
Christian, from MS, was convicted of 2nd-degree murder. He was sentenced to 15 years to life.
Bro, look, this is the same story we hear every day. Like every gang video that I watch is the same shit. Back and forth, back and forth. There's not one gang tougher than the next, all right? There's killings on both sides. Both sides got people that go to prison. Both sides probably fought it over, started the argument over some highness. You know, listen, salute to both these fucking hoods because at the end of the day, they show no weakness. You know, of course, the rats, all rats must die. You guys already know. They play this game. You got to deal with the consequences, whether you like them or not. You know, once you're yelling out gang, gang, you got to deal with the consequences. You know, what can I say? Pull up tonight. Haters Only Podcast, 7 p.m. Compa Raider in the building. That'll be on the page, The Hater World. All right, so pull up, Hater World, all right. Pull up, show some love, 7 p.m. And tomorrow, Hater World Uncensored, we do the music live reactions. With that being said and nothing else to be said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Shout out to all the nerds in the comments that are going to correct me on things that I said, but have no profile photo. Add a profile photo and I'll believe you. Other than that, you guys already know it's been an episode of Blue Devil Reactions, and we out.